It seems people keep asking me the same question, so I decided to record another video of me splitting UntitledUI in different files. I created a video about this in the past, but I recorded it on the screen from my Mac Studio, which is a large screen, so the font size became little. So right now I'm just doing it on the screen of my MacBook, and hopefully it'll be usable for everyone. So I have a new project here, Jewelry by Johan, and I've downloaded, or actually opened, the UntitledUI Pro styles. So as you maybe are aware of, if you are aware and if you're not, within UntitledUI there are different types of files. So you have the variables, the styles, and a light version. It's good to know that the variables, which is like the newest shiny feature of Figma, it's a very nice way of working, but I would only recommend using the variables files if you actually have a project like a SaaS product where you would continue working on this single product for years to come. Because the added complexity of variables, it takes away from the speed, in my opinion, because you have multiple layers that you need to manage. And I do think the styles version in 99% of the cases would probably be more than enough for anyone to work with. So I have the file here. This is the 7.0 version. So I'm just going to rename this core. I created two other files which are totally, and I'm going to start with this. So I have the core file, I have the examples and deliverables. Now, the first thing that I always do is when I get this file, first I publish it. So I renamed it with the name of the client and an indication that this is actually the core file. If I went a little bit too fast, if you go to assets, you have this library icon, and here you can publish the file and you can see that it's actually 2,869 styles and components. So this might take a while, so I'm sure we can fast forward the video. And while Figma is publishing the library, which could easily take up like 15 to 20 minutes, also kind of depends on your internet speed, while it's publishing, there's one other thing that you can already do to save you a bit of time. So open up your browser and open Figma inside your browser. So there, once again, you have the same file. So as you can see, open the core file, the page examples, and the deliverables. What you can already do is prepare the page example files and simply copy pasting, creating all the pages and naming them the same as they are in your core file. So within the core file, that of course doesn't work, you have your marketing website examples, and you can just simply copy paste all those names here, and you can do the same for application examples. So those will be the pages that will first move to the separate file once the library is published. So that took about 20 minutes. Now that we're back in the file, when we open up the library, we can actually see that the JBJ core file has now been published. We have the other pages called page examples and deliverables, and what I like to do always is to make sure that both files are immediately linked to the core file. So I open up the library icon, and with Manage Libraries, I add these to the file. I do this for both just to make sure, while I'm pretty sure the page examples doesn't actually need it since they're all components themselves. So there isn't actually any content in the page example file. So what I've done is during the publishing, created all the pages for the stuff that will move from the core file to the example. Now it's super important to make sure that they're actually linked to the library before doing that. And right now it's just a very simple process of going into those pages, starting from, well, marketing page examples. I'm going to start with the application examples, just opening up every page, selecting all, cut, going to the examples, and simply paste in the same page again. So this isn't the most intelligent process, but it's a good way to, first of all, split the UntitledUI file into multiple files. So as you can see, depending on the page and how much stuff is in there, the copy pasting could actually take a while. So make sure you have some solid internet speed. If you work on Wi-Fi, but you do have a cable available, I would always recommend like using a UTP cable because the internet speed will probably be faster. So this is just how you go through it. So I go back to the core file, go to the second dashboard, select all, cut, and then once again, paste them in the page examples file. So I will do this for every small step and I'll get back to you in a second. So after some copy pasting, we now have all the page example files in the separate Figma file. When I go back to the core file, I can select all the pages that are now empty, which we can just delete from here. I'll delete this divider and also go to the application examples here and delete this, and also delete that single divider. So now you can do two different things. If you'd like, you can also create a separate file where you can actually move all the marketing website components, the same for the application components, or you can keep this inside this core file. Since we're using the styles, which isn't as heavy as the variables, I mostly prefer keeping this here. And now really the fun part starts, because from here we can change the colors, the brand colors, warning colors, we can change the typography and easily have that throughout the file. So for example, I use Batch Styler as a plugin to easily set up and change these font styles to whatever I need it to be. So I can select the display fonts and change all the fonts in one hit, publish the file and have that sync throughout my entire file. I hope this is helpful to you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Have a good day.